Hi everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of Let's Play Dragon Age Resurgence, aka Dragon Age Season 2. This is now Session 3, and those are three fingers. And I'm very excited to see where the story is taking place. Our heroes have now arrived at the first destination that they chose. I didn't nudge them in any direction or other. They are pretty much steering wherever this plot goes, and I am just trying to react as best as I can, so they're definitely keeping me on my toes. So the place that they wanted to go to, supposedly, is Orlais, and because Orlais is pretty much the capital of the Andrastian religion, which arguably is probably the most prevalent of organized religion in Thedas, at least currently in the present time. My warm-up question for the players right now is something that I want you to answer personally as your own character, and that is, explain to us as much in detail as you can, what exactly is your character's level of spirituality?
I guess I'll start if nobody else wants to, because I kind of
Mm-hmm.
feel like mine's been out there since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Halisare, of course, has been raised by the Chantry, but I decided to do a twist on the classical priest, so she's more. It's the difference between somebody who, yes, knows the Bible backwards and forwards in real life, but has actually decided to, study, well, if Jesus Christ had been alive and like if he really is a historical figure, let's follow that history. I'm basically doing that in in the world of Thedas. So she knows, of course, she is the Chant of Light, but she has always been struck by the histories of Andraste. And that, for example, is why she referred to like Kenna last time as the Spear Maid, because for her, Andraste was introduced to the entire world as the Spear Maid of the Alamar. So she's kind of become this wandering priest who speaks a very historical line. She basically has taken the Chant of Light and has kind of turned it to her own life and her own travels, and what would Andraste do instead of what does the entire chant teach us, because the entire chant is a whole bunch of different people writing their different views. That's why there are so many different chapters in it and so many different canticles, because everyone's had a hand. She's just trying to follow her history and trying to live the best life she can live, and kind of help people discover their own truths through that chant.
One thing I wanted to ask you, Rachel,
Yeah.
is it's very clear that Halisare, I'm using the word passionate, is very passionate
Thank you.
about her view
Hmm.
on Andrastian religion, to the point that she will go, I don't know if it's necessarily out of her way, but we have seen examples of that in the last session, go out of her way to correct people. For example, when I love the part when Cedric starts quoting, magic should be used to serve man, not to. I forgot what the line is. You hear it all the time,
Of
and
course.
Halisare's response to that immediately, without skipping a beat, was, What's the next line? What does the rest of it say?"
Right.
So, which I thought was really cool about how that works, because it's all in context. Um,
Absolutely, yeah.
so my question is, since it seems like she has a habit of doing that, what has been people's reactions to that towards Halisare? How has people reacted to her doing that to them, and how have you handled that? Because I'd like to know that, just as for my own personal information.
Okay. Um, I would expect, as far as, Halisare's travels, that there's always going to be a mixed reaction,
Mm-hmm.
because in more like even in the games, you're going to go to one place and everything out of everyone's mouth is "May her be with you today," and so they'll probably mileage may vary. Some people are going to be like, "Yeah, you're right. This is something to think about," whereas other people will be like, "The heck are you talking about?" So yeah, I mean, I'm fully expecting there to be eventual consequences because, for example, she just stood that scene that you mentioned where Cedric had his reaction and Halis stepped in between the two of them. There are going to be people who do not like that because why are you defending mages? Mages are evil. What are you doing?
Right.
You took vows. You're a priest. Why are you doing this? But there are also going to be people who are like, oh, well, yeah, it does say it like that, doesn't it? So, again, it's that entire find your own truth thing.
Yeah, and as you said in session 1, the why is everything.
Yes.
I like that. The why is everything.
For Kenna, she's extremely spiritual. The fact that she was raised as, the daughter of Thane, I imagine she had a lot of workings with, the different religious texts and teachings, because she was being trained to be, a leader, essentially. And then I think outside of what happened to her, she sort of had a struggle with her own faith because she doesn't know if she's being sort of punished or if this is a test. So she's definitely trying to wrestle with her feelings of spirituality. And then as far as how she feels about other religions, I think she's okay with it. She's not going to say you're wrong or anything. But I think she thinks it's silly to worship some absent deity versus something that's in front of you every day. There's signs everywhere if you look for them. Like, but why? Okay, that's fine. You can have your absent maker and his dead bride. Like, that's fine. Whatever. It's just here we are. Like, my gods are right here in front of you. But she wouldn't mock them or anything. It's just what she thinks personally.
So you said that you have a certain amount of tolerance for other religions. Then my question to you is, how does Kenna feel about historically the Exalted Marches, which is an obvious parallel to the Crusades in real life history, where people were pretty much being forced into Christianity during the Exalted March. Everyone was trying to force everyone into Andrastian culture and Andrastian religion, I think including the Avarian people, if I remember correctly. What were your feelings towards that historically?
I think she would hate it. She would hate someone trying to impose their own religion on somebody else. She wouldn't do it to anybody, and she would hate to have it done to her.
Okay. But that hasn't cut deep enough that you personally have your own, what is it called? Discriminatory thoughts towards an Andrastian person yet? Or no. Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Is there?
We'll work on that.
We'll work on it. Okay, good to know.
So the aspects of the dwarven faith that resonate particularly with Theo are the more person-centric beliefs that we are to worship the ancestors and the living beings that actually existed. I think the main sticking point for Theoben when it comes to faith and spirituality, and I thought about this when I thought about what was going on during the prior to the Blight, because there's that side quest with Brother Burkle starting up the Chantry in Orzammar, and so I thought about it, and I think Theo kind of has the same sticking point that Kenna does, in that, okay, so there's this concept of a deity that transcends our knowledge and understanding, but then there are actually people that worked hard to build the buildings that you live in and the ground that you walk on, and people fought and died for the Empire of Orzammar, and so I think for Theo, that's what he cares about. He worships the ancestors, and it is very, very personal to him. He would actively talk about it if asked, because he feels that those people deserve respect, and the people that died for the cause of protecting the dwarven race. They're the people that we should be worshipping. They're the people that we should be giving ourselves to be better for. And so that's the aspect of the dwarven faith that I think matters to him. It's making the people that died before us proud of what we've accomplished now.
Especially considering what happened in Orzammar with Branka, because so many of the dwarven people in Orzammar did lose their lives, and they kind of are going through sort of a similar situation as the Dalish have been, because they're like losing their culture, they're losing a lot of the history that they've had, because a lot of their legacy is dwindling.
And what we found with session 1 was that the Anvil of the Void is missing.
And the Anvil of the Void is missing for some reason.
He's very scared of that is missing, because obviously, should that start happening again, his race is probably going to be eradicated if the dwarven people endure much more of that kind of suffering. And he hasn't said anything, or maybe outwardly shown it, but inside he's petrified of what that could mean for his race, and it's a scary time for him.
Since King Kine is inviting surface dwarves back into the fold, and allowing people to now leave Orzammar to go into the surface, do you think that is going to endanger the dwarven culture, because you're now you're getting all of these ideas from the surface now, and some of the surface dwarves, for example, Varric is a good example. Varric is actually Andrastian. He still is aware of the stone, and I'm sure he still says by the stone, but I think he leans more towards Andrastian culture, and now you're getting a melting pot of these other thoughts and ideals and everything, and they're now going to Orzammar. What are your feelings about that?
I can see why it would be a concern, but for Theoben, he has faith in the dwarven people, in that the dwarven people are very, very traditionalist, and they're very close-knit community that stand by their faiths, beliefs, and traditions, whether right or wrong.
To a fault, sometimes.
Exactly, So I think, having lived in Orzammar and having known its culture, I think Orzammar would be able to put up a strong fight against anyone that tried to dilute that aspect of the culture. And he also does have faith in King Kine as well, because obviously he was part of the resistance, and he owes everything to Kine for what he's done. So he believes dwarves are stubborn enough to keep going.
It's hard for Andrea, but her people, the Talvashoth, their entire culture is based on trying to escape oppressive religion and an oppressive culture. So, I think probably she's very skeptical of the power of religion and how much power it should have, based solely on what happened to her family and what her family was fighting so hard to escape. On top of that, though, she's been raised by the Chantry, so she's seen both good sides and bad sides of that. She's experienced both the mercy and the love that can be involved, but also on the other side, the prejudice and the oppression. So I would say she wants to believe, but it's very difficult for her to, and she doesn't like the idea of accepting the full power of the church. It makes her very uncomfortable, thinking of a church actually being the people who are in power. On top of that, I would say I saw I saw her tribe as being a very spiritual group of people. Her in particular, she's a mage, and she understands the concept of the fade and all that stuff. So I think she would be very spiritual, but not religious.
So your tribe was Talvashoth, not Qunari, correct? Is that my understanding? Your tribe is Talvashoth, not Qunari, and because you are Talvashoth or Vashoth, I guess if you, in general, if you were to interact with an actual Qunari who follows the Qunari faith. Like, do you think, even if it's subconscious, do you think that Andrea might have some prejudice feelings towards? Totally. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally. I not against them specifically, but against the Qun. She doesn't like the idea of living in the way of the Qun. It's a scary thing, and it's not something that she would ever want to do. And if she ever lived under the Qun, she would be a collard.
Yeah, you'd be Katojan.
Her lips would be sewn together, and she wouldn't want that at all. So it's a very frightening concept. I don't know if she would dislike the person, but I think she would probably pity them and look down on the fact that they're slaves and they don't even realize it. So
with the Cerebos specifically, especially Cereboses that are very faithful to the Qun, and they believe, this is how it should be. This is the demands of the Qun states that this is how I need to live my life. Do you feel more pity towards them or anger towards them for believing in that? Is it pity or anger that you think you would have?
I think she would be angry that they're wearing the collars, but I think it would be more pity. I think she would assume that they're just brainwashed.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not their fault. It's their culture, and it's wrong. And
okay. Gotcha. And
I would love to have that conversation with you.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
So for Cedric, he's Androstian, but I like the point that you brought up with Halis and how he only quoted the first line, and I think that's a big factor into like how he was raised. He was raised to kind of like just straight up fear mages, and mainly because of his past and his upbringing. So that was like he knew the whole verse, but that first line is like they really drove that line home. Like, and then they were like, oh, but then there's this rest of it, but don't really worry about that. This line is the one that you need to worry about. So I feel like in terms of like the chant, he was taught to like pick and choose almost things that would help him and like comfort him. Following it word for word is definitely not something that he was taught to do, so it's not really something that he fully does.
I have a question. Do you think he's aware of that? Do you think he's aware that he is paying more attention to a particular line or verse?
Yes. Yeah, he's definitely aware. But like I said again, like he was raised so much so that he thinks that was kind of the norm. It's like, oh, okay, well, this is what's helping me, so I'm just going to focus on this. But then that interaction with Halis happened, and he's like, oh, maybe there are people out there who take the whole thing and actually, like, delve into it. Or, like, he will learn that soon. And as far as, like, converting people to Andrastian or like other religions, Cedric is more of like a religion is there to help you get over whatever problems or issues you're having within your life. It's like, oh, I'm hurting. Let me fall back on religion to help me get over this hurt. Or like, I'm having troubles. Let me pray to this person to help me get over these troubles. If that's not Andrastian, he's definitely not one to push.
I wanted to ask Cedric, what are his personal views on the Orlesians, especially considering how they are, the capital state for the Andrastian culture. for the divine in general. Currently, the divine that is residing is Divine Justinia. What are your thoughts and feelings about that as a Navaran?
Yeah. As a Navaran, he doesn't really like Orlesians, per se. He thinks that they can be they are kind of pompous and like, you know, stuck up and such. Yeah.
Crazy.
So he kind of follows that sense. And as for like the divine being there, I don't think he really minds. But yeah.
Well, let me bring this up then. So Divine Justinia is unique in that she's not the most traditional of divines, and this has caused a good amount of controversy. Some people either love her to death or absolutely hate her because she does challenge a lot of the norms that were established in Andrastian religion for quite some time. I mean, in this particular universe, she made a Vashoth her left hand, which you can definitely bet there's a lot of very strong feelings about her making a Vashoth the left hand of the divine. What do you think of that? Like, she kind of is sort of like the female version of Pope Francis, because Pope Francis right now is definitely making a lot of heads turn with the things that he's saying and doing, and I kind of see Divine Justinia being very similar to that.
I think Cedric would put his faith in the divine. He might scratch his head a little bit. It's like, why are you putting a Tal Vashoth in as your left hand? But you know what? That's way above me. I'm sure you have a lot better reason to do it than I do for you not to do it. So I think he's just kind of putting his faith in the divine and not like he's kind of like huh? But he's not gonna like push it or like criticize her or anything for it.
Right. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and begin the session. So when we last left our heroes, most of you actually were still in the crossroads because you were able to activate the Alluvion that went back into Malcolm's mirror that he had on the back of his wagon. And Kenna was able to recognize his backside, and she
I meant it because he probably bends over a lot to get his supplies.
Of course he does. So I'm reminded by, because you know how Malcolm mentioned to Kenna how his son Gerard Payne kind of fancies Kenna. For some reason, I'm thinking Stacy's mom or Stacy's dad. The song Stacy's dad. Kenna secretly is like a thing for anyway.
Let's have nice spectacles, Kenna.
That's a ship no one saw coming.
Yeah.
It makes sense. You don't know you don't know if she grew up without a father figure. Maybe there's anyway.
Oh my God.
Okay, that took a weird turn. I'm sorry. I'm gonna move on. All right. That took a weird, super weird turn. So Kenna had offered to go in first because she said that this might be a little too overwhelming for all of you to just jump out of this mirror. So I believe Kenna was about to go out by herself. I don't know if she's bringing anyone with her, but
yeah, she'll go by herself.
Okay.
She doesn't want to give him a heart attack. So she's gonna walk through the mirror, and she'll tell everyone to stay put for a second, and then she'll walk through the mirror.
When you tell people to stay put for a second, Esbjorn is going to grunt, as if to say he doesn't want to stay back here. He wants to go with you.
Aww.
What are you talking about?
Oh.
It's like, you left me once, woman.
You owe him.
So, I mean, it's up to you how you respond to him, if you respond to him.
Yeah. She'll turn around. She'll go, Esbjorn, just watch everyone for me, okay? I'll be right back. I promise. You watch them. Be a good bear. Watch them. And then she's gonna go through the mirror.
All right. You go through the mirror, and Malcolm doesn't seem to have noticed. He's still rummaging through some things in his pack, so he's just minding his own business.
She's gonna sort of
He stands up straight when you say that, and then he whips around and he says, "Kenna, you're back."
Welcome. I am here.
I was so worried. I was getting so worried, my dear. I was trying to find out what happened to you. Where have you been all this time? You went into the mirror, and then the mirror sort of stopped glowing, and I wasn't sure what to do at that point.
It's a long story, Malcolm. One that I will tell you in every detail. But look, there's going to be a couple more people coming through the mirror. So be prepared for that. They seem okay. But yeah. And if you could not call Esbjorn by his name, could you call him by that name that I taught you when we first met, when I didn't trust you? I called him Trout. Can you make sure you call him Trout?
Sure. If you think that is best.
I don't know about these people, and I don't think they deserve to know his real name just yet. So, just, Trout.
Where did these people come from?
I'll tell you in a minute. I just don't want the mirror to close behind me, because my bear's back there.
All right. He says as he straightens his glasses.
You look fine, Malcolm. Don't worry. And she'll turn around and gesture for everyone to come through.
Okay, you guys can see her gesturing. You can see this whole scene, but you can't hear what the conversation is. But you can see her gesturing you guys to come through the mirror. What happens?
I guess we're not getting babysitted by the bear anymore. Let's go.
All right.
All right. She'll pop forward first.
Okay, you'll pop forward first, and I think Esbjorn or Trout will be right behind you, followed by the rest of the group. And when you all emerge, you see this gentleman, Malcolm, and he looks absolutely amazed by the mere presence of all of you coming through this mirror. By the Maker, he says under whispered breath.
Yes, good afternoon.
Malcolm.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
He says as he awkwardly walks towards you. Malcolm Payne is my name, merchant and tradesman of Thedas, as he holds out his hand to shake.
Pleasant to meet you, Malcolm. Theoben Solney. Fellow merchant, actually.
Are you from Orzammar?
I am indeed, good sir.
He says, well, what is your trade specialty, if you don't mind me asking?
Poultices, potions, health, herbals, that sort of thing. Usually remedies of a helpful sort.
Well, we definitely could use all that we can get in Thedas if you're ever around there. In Ferelden if you're ever around there.
Yes, I've journeyed here many times, actually.
He smiles and immediately the two of you have some sort of like a rapport, like almost like we'll talk later. We'll talk later, 'cause
we'll do business. Yeah,
you kind of get the feeling that Malcolm is a bit of a merchant nerd. He's a big giant merchant nerd.
That's okay.
So,
Theo can gel with that.
So, the kind of person who likes to vent about everything that you have to deal with in the books, like the
Oh,
bookkeeping
yes.
and all that good stuff. So he kind of
The suppliers raising the prices. What a scandal.
exactly. Yeah. So I guess I see Theoben and Malcolm started going into this jargon, this like merchant jargon
Yeah.
that's are probably going over your heads right now, and they're having this little side conversation at the moment,
Okay.
while whatever else is happening is happening.
I'm looking at everything very excitedly.
Yes.
So the surroundings is very extravagant. I will allow everyone to roll a history roll, cunning history, to see if you could recognize where you might be. For Halis, unfortunately, you do not recognize where this is. Beyond, it looks Orlesian, but you don't know exactly sure where in Orlais you might possibly be. For those of you who are
Sure.
13 or above, you recognize, at least have heard of such a place, if not been here personally, as being the White Spire.
Wait,
So,
what?
you're in the White Spire.
Okay.
So, just to give a bit of background information, if I can grab that
Oh my
really
God.
quickly.
I was not expecting that. Whoa.
Me neither.
All those steps.
Yes.
Is it common for non-mages to be hanging out in the White Spire?
I don't think it's common, but it's not unusual. I'm sure it's happened before, many times. The White Spire is pretty much the circle of Magi capital, so I can imagine all sorts of people have gone through their halls in the past. So, the White Spire can be seen from anywhere in Val Royeaux, even during the night. The White Tower is lit by magic, seen by some as looking like a sword thrust into the sky. Phylacteries of all White Spire mages are kept within the tower in a locked chamber, as well as those of the first enchanters of every circle in Thedas. The phylactery chamber can only be opened by a mage, typically the first enchanter, and the Templar, both working together to open the magical lock to ensure security. You learned this from the book Dragon Age Asunder. Wonderful book if none of you guys have read it. Those of you who are watching, so good. If you don't read any of the Dragon Age books, that's the one I recommend you read. The middle levels of the tower are occupied by the mages, while the Templars reside in the upper floors and have a view of the entire city from that height. The first few floors of the lower levels are kitchens and armories. Below that are ancient archives, some containing forbidden texts. Initially, the tower served as the ruling fortress of Emperor Cordelius Draken I, who founded the Chantry. His old throne room is used as the main entrance to the tower now. As a relic from that time, there are numerous dungeons with ancient torture chambers in the lowest levels of the tower. These levels are called the Pit, and the dungeons lay at the center of the pit, hundreds of cells on multiple levels. The pit also houses many lost levels containing flooded chambers, an ancient Templar mausoleum, old passageways, and forgotten relics. The White Spire Magi are divided into various mage fraternities, the most vocal of which are the Libertarians, who seek freedom from Chantry oversight. The leader of the Libertarian fraternity resides at White Spire. The White Spire also houses the Knight Vigilant, which is the head of all Templars, the leader of the Templar Order, who commands the Templars from within. All of that I have just read to you, Andrea knows, because of her lore. Other than that, for the rest of you, it looks like everyone else had relatively average DCs. So you pretty much know about the phylacteries, you know about them having phylacteries of all of the mages of Thedas. You heard rumors about what's in the lower depths of the White Spire, but you don't know very much detail. Maybe you might have heard of the pit, but beyond that, you don't know anything else.
Would Cedric know about the Knight Vigilant being here?
Yes. Night Vigilant Trent Watch. Trent Watch is the name of the presiding night, the Night Vigilant.
Okay.
Cool.
This is scary. I'm in the White Spire. Awesome.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
Nobody
Wow.
in the party. Well, nobody in the party knows that you're. Well, they know you're a mage, but anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yes. We're in the White Spire. Oh my god, they have so many books here.
So Theoben would ask Malcolm, so what brings you here?
He says, "Well, when Kenna went through the mirror and disappeared, I wasn't sure what to do. I wanted to find help to rescue her, and since I was coming to Orlais anyway, I thought perhaps one of the mages here at the White Spire might know how to get Kenna back. Well, it looks like she didn't need rescuing after all," Malcolm says.
Never do.
No, rest assured, it was just an alluvion. So it's quite easy to get back once you figure out the key.
Did you already tell them,
Alright.
Malcolm?
He said yes. I informed them about the mirror, and they said that they would try to help me determine what this thing is and what could be done to get you back. Although I got here pretty late, so they said they wouldn't be able to start looking at it until tomorrow morning.
Has the mirror closed behind them, by the way, or is it still active?
Yeah, once all of you are through, it's closed. And just so you know, right now, Razakale's eyes are in awe. Like, this is something she's never seen. You can tell this is something she's never seen, but she looks so engrossed by everything. She's just absorbing everything. It almost seems like it's super overwhelming to the point that it might be a little bit painful to her to see everything here that's so brilliant and new. And as for Hugh, he's looking around very curiously, but he remains standing right next to Cedric.
Aw.
So perhaps we should find whoever you spoke to and assure them that they shouldn't be worried, that all is well.
Yes, of course. I'll let them know. Are you all spending the night here, then? Malcolm asks.
Here.
What
Not sure a
time is it?
dwarf would be welcome at a magic circle.
Ew.
Well, I'm sure I might be able to... he says, I'm friends with the junior enchanter here. I might be able to ask him to pull some strings to let you at least stay the night.
You know Gunneel. Just...
Oh, of course. Junior Enchanter Dubois. Yes, absolutely.
Guys, that's one of the heroes of Thedas. It's so cool.
Great. A hero worshipping mage worshipping another mage. That's great.
No, it's not just mages. I think they're all pretty cool.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yes.
Why don't I go ahead and see what I can do to get you all quarters, at least for the evening. I'm sure that this place is massive, so I'm sure they must have some sort of a guest quarters of some sort that won't get you in the way of, I guess, whatever the day-to-day is here in the White Spire.
If it's not too much trouble.
Very well, then. Why don't you all wait right here? Kenna, he says, looking towards her, you've probably never been here before. The mages and Templars here are very particular about newcomers, and they don't want people just wandering about when they're not supposed to be. So if I could trust you to keep them here while I go speak with the mages and the Templars, that might be best.
They
We won't go.
they'd be concerned about a wandering Avar, but they'd be okay with the bear.
The bear, I think, is... I don't know what they're going to say about the bear, to be quite
I
honest.
am an ordained priestess of the Maker. I will vouch for them if need be. Go.
He will nod, and Malcolm will leave the room.
Don't have to be so mean about it. He's just trying to help.
Alice, can I talk to you maybe really quickly in private?
Yes.
Like on this side of the room.
And she'll take a couple of paces. All of this is like she's trying so hard not to just barrel forward. This okay, this is Kenna's friend, yeah. But it's just like, okay, we're apparently in the White Spire, and I've got this mage who's freaking out, but not the way I think she should be freaking out. And okay, so yeah, she will just step aside and wait.
Okay, as cool as this all is, I'm a mage from Tevinter, and I don't really know how safe I am here. So I don't know what to do.
All right. So here's what
there
you're going.
There are a lot of Templars, and they don't know me, and I'm a mage in their tower.
Yes, of course. Here's what you're going to do.
Mm.
Any magic? Don't.
Okay.
You are... This is going to be interesting.
It is, yes.
Yes, it is.
I mean, my clothes, they're obviously Tevinter. Like, I read through Tevinter.
Yes, you absolutely do. You are a pilgrim. You're a pilgrim who is... You're a pilgrim. You don't know... You have no magic. Do you understand?
I have no magic.
You are here to... I don't know what they want to say for cover.
Well, I'm Telva Shorth, and I am... I was raised by the Chantry, so I know a bit.
Good. This will work. All right, you are a pilgrim. You are going to be my student now. Congratulations.
Thank you. I will tell you, I am well studied and a good student.
Excellent. All right. I suggest, you are very welcome to be yourself. However, again, no mention of magic.
Right. It's going to be hard in the Tower of Magic, but okay, no magic.
No. You have no magic. If you need to express an opinion, just be careful. That's
Maybe
all
tell
I'll say.
you, and then you can voice it. Yeah.
No.
Oh,
no.
damn.
You have your own voice. You also have your own mind. You need to use it.
Okay. I just worried about spouting out all sorts of magic-y stuff.
As long as you do not start to say, I trust you. I trust that you have good instincts. Just remember that Tevinter views magic, not you, in a different way.
Yes.
So
this I know.
Be prepared for fear. Just be careful. I will not let any harm come to you.
Very good. There's so many books. I just want to ask so many questions. Okay, I'll be good. I'll be very good.
Questions are fine. Questions about books are fine. Questions about books to make you a better spellcaster are not fine.
Okay. Okay. I will be smart.
Be smart.
All right.
Are you comfortable? Do you have this?
I think I have it. I'm pretty wily at times. I should be okay. Just needed a plan.
The plan is be careful, mind your words, do not throw spells. I will protect you.
I can handle that. I should be all right.
All right.
I hope.
I can imagine.
And then she'll do the, Andraste's blessing. Yeah, we were just talking, and hey, isn't this great? This is the Spire.
It is so great.
Was anything happening while they were having the side conversation?
Theoben was probably, once Malcolm took his leave, eyeing up his cart, just taking a look at the kind of stuff that Malcolm sells, just out of curiosity.
So Malcolm, he seems to have a very he actually seems to have a pretty good amount of wares on him from various different places. Just by looking at the merchandise that he has, I mean, there's wines from Tevinter, there's packets of the free marches have this fish pie kind of dish, a traditional fish pie kind of dish. So like there's like these little bags of do-it-yourself like fish pies that you just have to mix with water, and then you just add a fish, and it just makes one of their traditional fish pies. There's a few pelts there, including a fox pelt that was given to him by Kenna. There's some doggy treats for Mabari warhounds, like for Mabari hounds from Ferelden. You actually see a few cases of like a locked box that you recognize as the locked box that is used for trading lyrium. So you think he probably has gone through Orzammar as well? Like, this man's network is seems to be pretty thorough.
He was very impressed. Yeah. Looking very impressedly then at the cart.
Could I walk over to Theo?
You can. While he's perusing through. Let's say that he actually happens to be eyeing the fox pelt that you gave Malcolm.
Okay.
It's actually a good quality.
Yeah.
Quality fox
So
pelt.
he's probably running his fingers gently over it. Not bad. Not bad.
You like my work?
Excuse me?
That's mine. I gave it to Malcolm.
Oh, yes, it's very fine quality.
It is. It really is. I'm good. I was hoping I could talk to you for a moment, if you don't mind. I know things got a bit heated back there with, Razak, the Darkspawn.
That dark, yeah.
That one.
Dark spot.
Look, I realise I might have said something a bit, wrong, or you might have taken it wrong, but, about the whole, out of everyone, I know the dangers. I wasn't trying to say that I was above your experience. That wasn't a hype joke. That was just, look, if you're going to dislike me, I'd like you to dislike me for the right reasons. Like, I don't know, I'm a better marksman than you are. Something like that. I never say
that remains to be seen, first of all.
Okay, well, all right. But look,
I just wanted you to be aware that you were not the only one here that has suffered at the hands of Darkspawn, or in fact anything else.
I know. I was getting to that. I was gonna say that, heart is heart and pain is pain and loss is loss, no matter what scale it happens on. So I just wanted you to be aware that I knew the dangers of Darkspawn, not so much that I knew more than anyone else. That's all I meant. That's all I wanted to say. And she sort of does like this weird curtsy bow.
No need to be so formal. We did jump through a mirror together.
Right, that we did. Okay, well, I'm gonna go take care of the bear. Make sure you don't activate that acid snot when you're shaking anybody's hands. That would for a bad impression. Questions.
Trust me, there are worse things in Orzammar. You just don't shake hands there.
Oh, okay. All right.
Listen,
Bye.
Listen, before
yes,
you go,
Yes.
I just want to say I don't think I dislike you.
Oh. Well, that's nice.
I don't know, in all truthfulness, what to make of you or any of our current companions, but I just wanted you to know that I don't bear you any ill will, and I don't dislike you.
I don't dislike you either, but I don't really trust you just yet. So
That's the feeling's mutual.
good. All right, I'm gonna go.
All right, back to your hairy
Bye.
beast. Bye.
Excuse me, what? Harry. I walk away. Back to my bear.
Ray, are you there?
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome, Junior Enchanter Dubois. Thank you for joining us today. Hugh right now has walked up to a very beautiful painting, landscape painting, that's hanging on a wall nearby, and I think that Esbjörn is sort of just hanging out by Malcolm's cart, and Razak, she's walked up to like a curtain, and she's like running her fingers through the curtain, and she looks very fascinated by this curtain for some reason.
I'm gonna go up to Hugh.
When you approach Hugh, he's looking at this painting, and he immediately says, "I recognize this piece. Francisco from Antiva, the Exalted Age."
You're very well versed in artwork, I see.
He nods and says, "I have made it a point to be knowledgeable of such things in the past, yes."
It's very impressive.
He looks towards you. "Thank you, Cedric. Are you familiar with this as well? Do you have an appreciation for the arts?"
Probably not to the same extent that you do. I find it to be very beautiful. But as to the details of the painting, I am not sure.
Appreciation? No, not anymore. But I do recognize them from time to time.
Well, listen, I just wanted to ask you something. The woman that you were painting earlier, how did she seem?
He breaks away from the painting and looks towards you, and he says, "She seemed very bored for quite some time. She noticed me taking out my easel, and I started attempting to paint the scene that was in front of me in the crossroads, I believe, is what Andrea had called them."
Mm-hmm.
Razak seemed very fascinated and enamored by such a thing, and she was trying to say something to me. I unfortunately couldn't understand what she was saying, and she kept pointing at one of the trees that I was painting. She then went up to the tree and just stood there in a very pronounced position, and I decided to start painting her.
I see. So she didn't do anything odd or like dangerous or anything while we were gone?
Odd, yes. Dangerous, no. All of this must be very new to her. I wonder what's going through her mind right now.
I'm sure none of us will ever really fully grasp what's going through her mind. One more question. Do you remember me from Navarra?
He looks into your eyes as if trying to decide how to answer that question. And he says, I admit I was very confused when you mentioned us meeting at a tavern, you say?
Yes.
I apologize, Cedric. I don't remember that.
Right. Okay. That's completely fine. Cedric will kind of have like a puzzled look on his face, but not say anything more. He'll just say, thank you for getting me out of that box.
Of course, Cedric. I did not upset you, did I?
Oh, no. I'm just trying to piece together how I got in the box.
He nods and then he looks back at the painting again. Razak is still looking at the curtain right now, and she's sort of sniffing it at the moment. Acting really strange and bizarre.
Theo's gonna look over and just be like, okay, the darkspawn sniffing the curtain.
Razak looks towards Theoben when he says that, and she says, in common tongue, she says, soft,
Ha!
like cute, soft like cute, she says, again in King's tongue.
So he understands her.
Yeah, you understand the word soft like cute. Soft like cute.
She just
Is
called
that-
that curtain cute.
Or she was calling you cute. I'd watch out there, Theoben.
I'm gonna stand over here. And he like shuffles
Oh,
away.
He is cute.
Kenna, go ahead and roll me a cunning, please.
Oh, I would love to.
And tell me what the value is, if you don't mind.
Sure.
He's very wary and watchful of this darkspawn now.
15.
15?
Yes.
You think what Razak means... So, based on what you know of her, she seems to have a soft spot for cute animals. So, you think that what she means to say is this thing is soft and cuddly like cute animals.
Oh. No, she definitely likes you, Theo. I can tell.
Just keep it away from me, over there, somewhere.
I'll do my best.
Tomorrow is a very big day for you, Gwenaël, because tomorrow you are being... It's not coronated. You're officially going to become senior enchanter and archmage of the White Spire, which is a great honor that the first enchanter will be administering. So right now, throughout the things have started making preparations for this big, well-to-do Orlesian, I guess, ceremony to officially make you senior enchanter. So you were planning on turning in early to get a good night's sleep when Malcolm Payne is a merchant that you have befriended. He has a trade network all throughout Thedas, trying to make a name for himself. And he actually arrived at the White Spire later that evening because he was asking for help with a predicament. A good friend of his is lost because this mirror started glowing. His friend Kenna went into it and then it stopped glowing and he doesn't know what to do. He wants to rescue her, but he doesn't know anything about all this magic stuff, which is why he came to you. You told him that you would take care of it, put the mirror in the storage room, and you'll personally try to figure out what's going on. Malcolm has now returned back to you to inform you that Kenna has returned from the mirror, and now she's brought a whole bunch of other people with her. he doesn't know them personally, but he assumes that they're okay because they're with Kenna, and they need lodging for the night because it's like 1 a.m. at the moment. What is Gwenail wearing right now? Is he in some sort of Orlesian silk nightgown? Like, what is...
Has he got bunny slippers?
Does he have...
3 layers of overrobe.
I feel like bunny slippers would be more of a Cogs thing. I don't know if that's a Gwenail thing, but...
He's borrowed.
But yeah, he's actually wearing kind of like a still wearing like a comfy looking, more relaxed, like something like a more geriatric maid would wear overrobe with Orlesian silk pajamas underneath that look like you could like still walk out into an attire and complain at your servant sad about it. But yes, also just because I wanted to do this up the stress a little bit, so that he's wearing one of I haven't talked about this with Charlie, but he's wearing one of Delwyn's bandana thingies that he likes to wear on his arm.
Oh, that's sweet.
Aww, that's so cute. Yeah, I imagine, like, as Gwenail's entering, like, Theoben's still trying to back up away from the Darkspawn, so he might kind of bump into you a little bit.
Right now, this bizarre woman seems to be feeling up the silk curtains in this room. She seems to be very enamored by them for some reason. Definitely the oddest behaving one of the bunch.
It's a blend of Ravani cotton and Orlesian silk.
Silk. The woman repeats, and she's sort of like nuzzling it.
You really should take your friend out more.
I'll do that.
Theo would just say, very matter of fact, she's not my friend.
And ignoring that, Hal will respectfully bow.
It's one of those type of groups I see.
I don't know anything about that kind of group.
Did Malcolm introduce him?
No, he hasn't. So he will say, my apologies. This, my friends, is the junior enchanter himself, soon to become senior enchanter Dubois or Gwenail Dubois.
She will double bow now.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
So Andrea kind
She
of
will
gasps.
also very
bow
carefully
down.
keep her position, like, just... She might stand so that maybe Andrea's just a little bit behind her. Just...
No, don't do that. I'm not royalty. No need to prostrate myself. Oh dear.
Theo's just like, one of the heroes of Ferelden. Oh.
Yes, indeed.
Respect is respect,
One
sir.
of the heroes, and I have done great deeds, but again, I am not the divine. I am not royalty.
Theo is just not amused. He's just like completely
Not,
straight.
you're still pretty.
Okay.
You throw yourself to the floor for every pretty person you see? I mean, if you do that, how could you see their beauty?
Wise words.
Cedric will kind of chuckle at that. It's like, it's an honor to meet you, soon to be senior enchanter.
Yes.
And I'm sure it will be an honor to meet you all if you were brought to my chambers at this late of time. With a bear.
Our apologies, sir. We did not expect to be here at this inopportune hour. We merely need to get your approval for some lodging for the night, perhaps.
Oh, I see what strings I could pull to get that done. Should not be a problem at all.
Deeply appreciated, sir.
Yeah, what she said.
I would offer a seat, but I do not have enough chairs in here. I usually only have a few students in here at a time.
And not
Perhaps
usually
we
a bear, I would imagine, either.
No, but there have been some strange summonings here, so it's not the strangest thing I've seen in my room before.
Is that your
like
eyebrow,
him.
Rachel?
That was my eyebrow, yes.
He's witty. I like it.
All right. If we wish to speak now, perhaps we can meet about in my office instead. Just around this way.
All right.
Of course.
All right, the group will start going towards the office. Gwenaëlle, you will see a few of the Templars that are patrolling nod to you. The Templars here actually do respect you, Gwenaëlle, because you are a hero of Thedas, a hero of Ferelden. So one of them will probably stop you and say, Junior Enchanter Dubois, these visitors here in the middle of the night, and that bear?
Don't look at him. He's mine.
Yes, there. Please, get some more salmon.
Roll a persuasion, Gwenaëlle.
It's not really.
Oh yeah, that's enough. Yeah. And it's stunt. You have 1 stunt point. So with that, the Templars will have no trouble. Miraculously, well, not too miraculously. You're soon to be the first senior enchanter to pretty much determine that whatever it is that you're doing with the bear is legit, and they'll just let you into your office. So you all will end up in Gwenaëlle's. Do you want to describe your office, Ray? What it looks like?
Well, considering it's a part of the tower and very few people get their own personal offices, it's more like a full-roomed, open type office. So it's kind of like a cubicle that reaches to the top. So it's a room fused with a cubicle. It's wide and has a bunch of different relic kits decorated area and several bookshelves lining across a kind of center around. So you can kind of go like circle around and look at a bunch of different books with a tome in the center of it with a book behind it and such. If your character's well read and heard stories of secret passages, you would not be surprised if there was one in here somewhere. He has several different types of things that you might have heard from his tales that he's worn, like different staffs that he had throughout his journey, different potions and concoctions he's working on, some strange, not quite mage-like devices in the corner, a corner that looks a little bit unworldly, and a couple of things dashed in veils and chests, and tucked away in a corner area next to one of the doors connecting to one of the other offices to, as I imagine, all of the offices connect together for the other junior enchanters. It also looks like he's starting to pack up a little bit.
How about the shard? Is that on display, or do you store that somewhere else?
It's one of the little fancy stands. He keeps it covered up sometimes, or he actually carries it with him usually. But he also keeps it in a little stand on his desk, locked up, like on a little locked desk. It's like a chest desk. Yeah.
Okay, so it's displayed on your desk at the moment. Okay, just curious.
It's like a little case on his desk.
A little case on his desk that's locked up. Okay, good to know. All right, thank you.
It also has wards.
It also has wards. I mean, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Theo's eyeing the potions. You mentioned there were potions there that Gwenaëlle is working on, so he's going to approach those and ask, "What have you been working on?"
Oh, I'm not so much working on those myself. That is not really my area of specialties. I dabble.
Dabble.
I mostly have students practice there. That's one that was supposed to be a potion to help make your smooth your skin and such if you have itchy skin, but unfortunately it turns it blue.
I have had such mishaps myself. I could tell you some stories. What about this one? He points to another one next to it.
That one? That one? Oh. That's my tea. How did I get there?
Oh. Okay, well, Theo's curiosity is sated, so everyone else can chime in.
Hal has gone to.
Pulling out some of his chairs, extra chairs for his what would usually be his round seats, round table for his students to talk at. He doesn't have one of those long tables where he sits at the end because that would make him seem special. Anyways.
Okay. Cool. Hal would have gone to the corner of otherworldly things to study those, because she doesn't know what those are, so those might be a threat.
Cedric would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Gwenaël would is just gonna gently push that back with telekinesis and is like, please.
I'm not touching, sir.
No,
Before I turn my gaze elsewhere.